today, Fort Worth Memories Museum and Groups, and YouTube at Fort Worth Memories. I don't know if we're on live yet. Now we are. Takes it a minute or 30 seconds or so to kick in. Then it takes it another 30 seconds for it to show up. There we go. Let me style the video. It'll be a beautiful day out there today. So it is Wednesday. Come on, internet. April the 9th. Okay. I've got a early car coming. We got quite a bit of work today. So I'm going to have to do this early and go to work. We're eating at Blue Goose Cantina. That's it on University, right over here in front of the museum. Okay, here we go. Spring weather. John is in. Jeannie's in. John, what's the weather like up there? It's going to be 80 here today. I need to look something up on... Have y'all ever heard of this lady that's now working at the Sheriff's Department? Her name is Haley Drew, D-R-E-W. Wow. She's a model too. I mean... Look at some of the pictures of her. Haley Drew is a law enforcement officer from Fort Worth, Texas. She started her professional career at the age of 17 and has built a brand based on her modeling and fitness. Competing in bodybuilding shows in 2011, she ranked as one of the top in national level. She joined the department in 2017. There she is. Not one of your normal Sheriff's Department's people. But hey, that's all right. I bet she gets a lot of attention. So I wonder if she rides around town, or she's in the jail, or what's the deal? There she is with a long gun. Meet the world's hottest police officer. She had some big news to share this week. She has been turning heads on social media. She's a Texas native and a law enforcement officer from Fort Worth. She's also known for her modeling. I would think she was known for her modeling first, because she's been modeling since age 17, and she's got to be in her 30s, I would think. She joined the Sheriff's Department in 2017. The Sheriff's Department made a big announcement. What is that? Tip of the Spear Award. That's an award given to men and women who show up and have each other's backs every day. Wow. Haley Drew is her name. And we will share that to live videos, I thought. I can get it to share. There, I shared it to memories. And live videos. Okay, so there it is. She got the Tip of the Spear Award. Well, it says dynamic lean not found. So maybe that's all BS. Let me see if it's shared to live videos. It's shared to live videos. I wonder if that's a real deal or a fake. Let's Google her and see if that's really real before I start sharing it to everybody. It's on Instagram. She's got 231,000 followers. Well, they'll get a lot of attention on that. And here she is with Weyburn, and there was 2 recipients. So it's a real deal. Okay. If the internet would start connecting. I guess we're back to the internet here not working now. Anyway, I'm going to open that door right quick. And the internet still isn't working. It's on, or that, whatever that thing is over there. Don't have time to mess with it. Let's see who's in here early. There we go. Y'all are recovering from a major ice storm. You was without power for 9 days. Wow. I guess y'all all have generators up there. There's Larry Tolsdorf. Good morning. Monty's in. Lynn is in. So, our top cop, there she is. She's a deputy sheriff. It's on, the whole story is on Memories and on live videos. Not sure what some people will run with that story on. Okay, so today is my first meeting for the Tarrant County Historic Commission. That ought to be interesting. There's several committees. I want to see what their Facebook page looks like this morning. When I looked at it, it doesn't have much. Tarrant County Historic Commission. 2,000 likes and 2,200 followers. You'd think they'd want to have just doesn't get any action. Hops and Props 2025 celebrating the Meacham Airport Centennial. Yeah, so anyway, it'll be my debut. I hope it goes all right. That photo of the them tearing down Massey's has gotten lots of action. Well, we all miss that place, don't we, on 8th Avenue. I think now it's apartments or something. What's going on? The Rangers got beat 10-6. Their record is now 8-4. So they're better than 500 ball. You know, I found a story that I've talked about a bunch that, good morning, Dub. There's Richard Carr, good morning. I found a story that I was preparing myself for a Zoom lesson later in the week about Mar-a-Lago. The story that I've told forever is not even like the story that some of those news or the people that report it. So I'm going to have to dig into that and find out what the real deal is. It was built by Marjorie Merriweather Post. This thing, when she built it in the 20s, it was either had a cost of $2.5 million or $7 million. I've watched 4 videos on it from reliable sources, and they can't figure out which one is which. When it was built, it had 58 bedrooms. Now, this is a lady's home. 33 baths. It spans the entire length of that island. Mar-a-Lago in Spanish is from the sea to the lake, and that's what it does. It spans from the, I guess that's what, the Atlantic. Y'all will have to help me out with that. Anyway, from the ocean to Lake Worth in Florida. The story I've always told was a guy named Frederick Korth sold that property to Donald Trump in the 80s. So I'm going to go to the Texas Historic Commission online and see what they say. The stories that I've seen this morning and yesterday, she had all kinds of property. She was the only daughter of this guy, and his first company was Postum, Postum, Post Toasties. He invented the cereal. Well, he died at an early age, left her everything. She was worth about, depending on which source you want to quote, 15 to 25 million, really in the 20s, which would be, I'm sure, over 100 million today. She grew that company into General Foods, General Mills. At one point, her first husband, who was the CEO of the company, she was really the CEO, she ran it. She found out a company was for sale. She had ordered a turkey for Thanksgiving, and it was a frozen turkey, and that was very rare. And she found out the company's name was Birdseye, which we all know Birdseye. You can see it in every grocery store. So she wanted to buy that company. Her husband didn't. She got rid of him, and she bought the company. She paid $22 million for Birdseye. So her company actually started frozen foods. She was married 3 or 4 times. Now, the stories that I've seen this morning was that when she died, her dream was for that house to be a summer or a winter White House for the President of the United States. She had no idea that that's what it is now. So anyway, they say that she willed it, gave it to the state of Florida. And she had houses all over. She had a mansion in New York, and they all agree on this. Apparently it was a great location. It might be where Trump Tower is today. I don't know. I don't think so, because a developer wanted to buy her mansion, tear it down, and build a 20 or 30 story apartment building. And so she thought about it for a little bit, and she says, I'll do it, but you got to rebuild my mansion on top of this building. And then I'll live in it, and I want to lease it for $75,000 a year, which all that happened. She had a mansion on top of this 30-story building. So she was kind of eccentric. She had 3 daughters, so it said her will, depending on which will you want to remember, left a bunch of the estate to the 3 daughters. So Mar-a-Lago, she had she gave it to the state of Florida. Well, Florida said, we can't keep this. This thing cost $100,000 a year just to maintain. So they made some type of golf course and a tennis club or something. It didn't fly. Trump got a hold of the property in the 80s, and even he decided after about 3 years, he went to the city, wherever that city is, or the county, and said, I can't keep this thing up. It's $1 million a year just to keep it up. I need it rezoned to be a private club, and that's what it is today. Now, the story I've been telling for all of my life was that Frederick Korth, who was the CEO of Continental National Bank, he was also the Secretary of the Navy under Kennedy. He was the Assistant Secretary of the Army under Eisenhower in 53. He was a lawyer by trade. His big lawyer case was in 1948. He got a divorce from a guy named Ekdahl, who was married to Marguerite Oswald, Lee Harvey Oswald's mother. So there was a big scandal in 61. The F-111 or the Aardvark, General Dynamics bid on it, and so did Boeing. Boeing underbid General Dynamics by a bunch, and yet GD got the contract. So the scandal was that Fred Korth set up a meeting between Billy Saul Estes and Bobby Baker. Billy Saul Estes' protege, Bobby Baker, and LBJ. LBJ was then the vice president, and handed him a briefcase with $100,000 in it, and so GD got the contract. So Kennedy, when he was still alive, he said, we've had our investigating committee check it, and there's no truth to it, but Fred Korth stepped down. He got a divorce. And then the story I've been telling is he started a romantic relationship with a lady, because Marjorie Post did live in Fort Worth for a while before she moved and built her own town, Post, Texas. So I was under the assumption, and all of the stuff I've ever read said they carried on a very long romantic relationship but never married. He had divorced his wife. Then she died in the early 80s, and he was one of two executors of her estate, and that he sold it to then real estate investor Donald Trump. Well, that story is blown to hell. So whatever I've told you about that, I guess, is bogus. And I just can't believe there's so many. It's like today's news. This morning I'm going through all of the Instagram and all of that. They say that the GoFundMe's for the guy the kid that stabbed the other kid was taken down by Facebook, and the money was being sent back to the people who sent it. It's over $200,000. Does anybody know if that's really true? I mean, and you can, any hot topic, you can go to Fox and read their deal. Then you can go to CNN or MSNBC, and it's exactly the opposite. What happened to news reporting agencies reporting the truth? That's why they are politicians on credibility standings with us, the people, is low. Guess who's lower? Newspaper reporters or news services. They're lower. There's no confidence in what you're reading. I've been told when Amon Carter ran the Star-Telegram, owned it and ran it, they had to verify their stories. I mean, I know that's true, not just the Star-Telegram, all of those agencies. WBAP, all of them. They had to make sure the story they were putting out was real. Well, they don't even get close anymore. I actually had somebody call me yesterday and said, I just watched Brooke on the television. They were interviewing her. And this person, I'm not going to say who, told me all of this stuff. Well, I was actually watching that broadcast. And so I said, what channel are you watching? And they didn't tell me. Hey, Ginger.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Is your ride here?
No, I gotta call Uber.
Oh, okay.
That's that. That's that.
And I'm going to get started just as soon as I finish this live.
Oh, you're live?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
So anyway, I don't know what the truth is, but Brooke was on yesterday, and the person that called me and told me all this stuff that Brooke supposedly said, I didn't have the heart to tell that person. I just got through watching that interview, and she didn't say any of that. So people getting the truth about what the real story is a problem. So anyway, everything I've ever told you about Mar-a-Lago and Frederick Korth and Donald Trump, I guess is out the window until I research it. Because one of them, which was the History Channel, hey Gene, I think it is probably the most accurate. It said that Trump got a hold of it in '83 because the state of Florida gave it back to the estate of Marjorie Post. And I don't guess her daughters wanted it. But originally when she built it in the 20s, that thing had 58 bedrooms, 33 bathrooms, a dining room that would seat 200. So she was probably the most, she threw the biggest parties in the country, I guess, or in the world maybe. And I've done work, I've detailed cars for Frederick Korth's granddaughter and her kids. So I'm going to have to investigate that story. But look at that link I shared. Haley Drew is a deputy sheriff, and she's also a model. Pretty provocative photos. I wonder if Wayburn liked that deal. Well, anyway, she got an award. Her and another deputy sheriff, so I don't guess it's hit the airwaves yet because I hadn't seen anybody posting about it yet. So I will be here only till about 12:30 today because today is my first meeting with the Historic Commission. I'm just going to Uber it downtown. Only cost about $5 to go back downtown. So I will let y'all know. I promise you, I will be transparent. I think that might already be somewhat of a problem for some people, but I'm not going to say that my vote will. There's 18 people on it. So, but it is the committee that puts plaques on buildings and houses that stops the demolition. So, at least I can vote the way out for the history's sake. Anyway, I'll let y'all go. Oh, let me do the sponsors. We got to always do the sponsors. Winstead Paint and Body. They're on White Settlement Road, about a block past Roberts Cutoff. Scott is our IT guru. He can build you a website or help you with any technical issues. Alpha Design and Build is Lance Sanders. He does commercial and residential. He'll remodel your house or building or put a second story on it. Fort Worth Florist, Jeanette and her team. I've gotten a lot of good reviews from her about their company. 817-244-2345. G2 Garage is in the White Settlement area. Chris and his team over there, we've gotten, just recently, we got 5 or 6 good reviews. And I tell you, if there's a negative one, Feltz Family Auto Care is in Burleson, and everything I've ever heard from them is good. Stroud Auto Supply, that is Danny Stroud and his wife. I actually bought parts from them. I had a guy in Haltom City that used to work on my old 55 when I was 16, and he bought parts there. And so he said, that's where you need to go buy the parts. So I did. Swartz and Hanson is our architectural firm. They're very active in the bike giveaway too. Rex's Bar and Grill, I'm telling you, that thing is, it's definitely the most premier sports bar in Fort Worth, maybe in the state. They got a TV in there. The only one I've ever seen bigger is Jerry Jones at the Cowboy deal. Tri-State Dent. Door dings, hail damage, call Jason. They will fix you up. They'll come to you. Casey Crawl, Medicare, Medicaid. Don't try to navigate that by yourself. Get somebody that knows what they're doing. Rains Plumbing, family-owned business. We've gotten, last week, 3 of our members used them. Robert Rivera was one of them. Railhead Barbecue, Charlie Guerin. He's our state rep and also on the board of directors at Larry's Kids. And he's very active in the bike giveaway. He brought in a lot of money last year. Optimist Club of Fort Worth, Jeff Norman is the head honcho over there, and he just visited with us the other day and told us all the great stuff that they do for youth, boys and girls. Old South Pancake House is 1501 South University Drive, and they're also in Burleson. The one on University Drive is 24/7. Jenny Stewart is our State Farm insurance lady. If you're not using State Farm, call her team and get a quote. I guarantee you, my insurance went down. It was ridiculous. I was paying farmers $500 a month for one truck. It was the only one that was not lumped together with vehicles in the business. Cross Electric, Brandon Cross, they were voted DFW's favorites. Any electrical problems, call Brandon Cross, Cross Electric. K Ranch Roofing. Jorge Hernandez is the owner. They'll come out and check your roof if you think you might have roof damage from the storms that have been blowing through here. So you call their number, and Bree, the office manager, will set you up an appointment that's good for you and for them, and they will come out and check it, and they don't charge you for that. Fort Worth Lumber Company has been with me for over 10 years, both as a sponsor and as helping with the bike giveaway. Dickie Carr, that's Richard Carr's nephew. Grateful for your trees. I've interviewed this gentleman 2 or 3 times. He's in his 30s, very energetic. He does anything with trees. And then you got on top of that landscaping, fences, all type of haul off, demolition, sells firewood, arborist, flower beds, retaining walls. He's got a group of his team. They're ready, willing, and able. So call him, get him out there. He'll come out and give you a price, and you can get to work. Okay. I don't know how Scott does this where I can't find out where I'm going. Well, oh, I see. There's a little error. That's what I should be. Okay, I got it now. Fort Worth Lumber we did. Coburn's Catering, Steve Coburn. They've been in the catering business since 1946. Where they're at on North Main used to be Coburn's Cafeteria. I worked across the street when I was 15 or 16, and I used to eat there quite a bit. But Steve will, any event or party, doesn't matter how big or how small, he can handle it. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel. Pat and Richard Carr are now the owners of that. These folks are always first to the plate to help out with anything needing help in our community. And in fact, they were the first person to write a check for $5,000 for Larry's kids. So Pat and Richard, thank you. A-Bird AC and Heating, that's Dub Peacock, one of the Peacock boys from Poly. So if you have any issues with heat or air conditioning your unit, you want to get it checked, just need to call and get them to get somebody out there. Eric Walsh is on the board of directors at Larry's Kids. He's in the real estate business, and he's a good guy. Wes Williams is also in the real estate business. He's also on the board at Larry's Kid. The goal this year is 1,400 bikes. So we're actively seeking dollars or bikes. Yellow Snake Horses, Brazos River Ranch. You go down I-20 about an hour's drive to Millsap, and she owns about 180 or 200 acres there on the Brazos. You can ride horses for 2 hours for $75, and you don't have to be experienced horse rider. Okay, so what else do we need to talk about? We're going to eat at Blue Goose Cantina right here in front of the museum at that shopping center on University across from Old South. 1 o'clock. Rangers got beat. That's all I know. Look at the new top cop we got, or the new sheriff. Man, she won an award. I posted, it's on the memories link, and I will let y'all get back to your coffee and breakfast and talk to y'all on my first break.